Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. Volvo's unions want to know where Geely is getting its money. Hyundai may build a plant in Mexico, and a new kind of superchargers coming out, an electric supercharger. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Thursday, November 19, 2009, and now the news. Bloomberg is reporting that Volvo's unions are meeting with Chinese automaker Geely today because they want to know where Geely is getting the money to finance the deal to buy Volvo. But Geely isn't saying. The unions are concerned that it may be the Chinese government that's backing the deal, and they want commitments to keep jobs and production in Sweden. Interestingly, there are different unions at Volvo for line workers, for engineers, and even for managers. The AFP reports that a trade pact between the U.S. and South Korea is being held up as members in the U.S. Congress want more market access for American cars. It says that South Korea is open to talking about this issue, but does not want to renegotiate the treaty. As we reported earlier in the month, South Korea exported over 500,000 vehicles to the U.S. last year, while American automakers exported fewer than 7,000 cars to Korea. Hyundai may build a third North American plant in Mexico. According to Edmunds Inside Line, a Mexican government agency says it is currently negotiating with Hyundai to build a plant in the country. The new plant might produce the Hyundai Accent and the Kia Rio starting in 2013 and have a capacity of 150,000 units. With the third plant, Hyundai will have the capability of building over 800,000 vehicles a year in North America. Is China changing colors from red to green? Last week, automaker BAIC launched a new subsidiary that focuses on building environmentally friendly vehicles. According to Wards, the Beijing New Energy Automotive Company will spearhead all kinds of EV work from research and development to production and sales. Starting in 2011, the company expects to build between 20,000 and 40,000 new energy cars per year. Recently, BAIC displayed an EV called the BE701. It has a top speed of 100 miles an hour and a range of 125 miles on a full charge. And as long as we're talking about China, Changan Automobile is considering acquiring the Italian design studio IDEA. According to Wards, IDEA has been a major contractor to Fiat, providing things like design and engineering services, but Fiat's decided to cancel all contracts with consultants. Because of that and the economic downturn, it's believed IDEA will be forced to sell its business. The company's already worked with Changan, helping design its Ben sport model, and Changan is expected to make a decision by the end of the year. Could electric superchargers be the wave of the future? Wards reports that a company called Controlled Power Technologies will have a system in production late next year. The idea is to use an electric supercharger in short bursts to boost low-end torque on small engines. Preferably, it would be paired with a turbocharger. The electric blower spins up to 70,000 RPM in only 0.3 of a second and can provide boost until the turbo is spooled up. The idea is to tie this technology in with stop-start systems because, as you would expect, conventional car batteries just don't have enough juice to repeatedly spin a supercharger. Vehicles that are stop-start capable already have brawnier batteries that can handle deep discharges. Coming up next, we'll take a look at Porsche's controversial new four-door, the Panamera.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
For the first time in its history, Porsche is building a four-door sedan, the Panamera. Recently, I had a chance to test drive one, and here's my look at this car. My instant impression of the Porsche Panamera S is that you are not going to mistake this for any other car. It really looks like a Porsche. The front end definitely has a strong resemblance to 911s and to Boxsters, but as you get alongside this thing, you recognize that this is a very different kind of Porsche. It's a four-door, first four-door they've ever done, and it's dictated how this car looks. Why? Because they wanted good headroom in the back seat here. And sure enough, there's actually a reasonable amount of headroom back here. But because they did not want this to be a really long car, it's shorter than a 7 Series BMW or an S-Class Mercedes, they knew they had to bring the roofline to an abrupt end. But because of that, this car is actually a hatchback. This is something we've never seen before, a premium luxury sedan that's actually a hatchback. But come on, let's take a look inside. I'll show you what's there. The first thing that you notice when you get inside this car is all the buttons that are arrayed around here. And they're all kind of the same size and color, so there's no different weighting from one to the other. You've really got to study these controls before you get driving on it. The next thing I noticed certainly was the steering wheel, which I don't think looks very good. These crossbars are sort of off at an angle. The whole thing looks somewhat asymmetrical, and then looks like it's got a little cookie plate in the middle of it. However, I love sitting in the driver's seat, looking out over the crests on the fenders, also the flat dashboard and how it seems to carry out into the hood. This car just says, let's drive. So, let's drive. My first impression in driving this car is it feels lightweight, it feels nimble, the steering feels very light to it. But when I look up the specs, it weighs almost 4,000 pounds. That's pretty porky for a car these days. But this one has 400 horsepower. You do the math, it's actually less than 10 pounds per horsepower. This thing gets it. Okay, here's the bottom line. The Panamera S starts at just under $90,000. This car costs $103,000, $13,000 worth of options. Some seem crazy. $3,800 just for the optional leather that's in this car. Would I buy this? I don't know. I really like this car a lot, but I don't lust after it like I lust after other Porsche sports cars. Hey, don't forget to tune in to Autoline After Hours, our live weekly webcast where we get into the behind-the-scenes information as to what's going on in the automotive industry, the kind of info that typically is off the record. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, live at AutolineDetroit.tv. And that is it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.